All right, let's get right into it. If you're building websites, you know there are really two main rules to the game. Your site has to be fast, and it has to be findable. So today, we're opening up the Next.js playbook to show you the powerful, built-in tools that are designed to make your websites ridiculously fast and super easy for search engines to find. But first, let's just pinpoint the actual problem we're trying to solve. Why is it that so many websites, even the ones that look amazing, just can't seem to hold on to users or bring new ones in? Well, it almost always boils down to one of two things. They are either painfully slow or they're basically invisible. And if a site is slow or hidden, let's be honest, it might as well not even exist. And that really brings us to the two sides of the coin on the modern web. You've got the slow and invisible sites, the ones that lose visitors before they even finish loading and just never get discovered. And then you have the goal, the fast and found site, the one that feels instantaneous and pops up exactly when and where people are looking for it. And Next.js, well, it's built from the ground up to get you there. So let's kick things off with speed. In a world where our attention spans are getting shorter by the second, performance isn't just some nice-to-have feature, it's everything. It is the absolute foundation of a good user experience. You've definitely been here, right? You go to click a button, and at the very last second, a big image loads above it, everything shifts down, and you end up clicking on a totally different ad or link. It is one of the most frustrating things online. Well, that annoying jumpiness actually has a name. Cumulative Layout Shift, or CLS. And here's the thing. It's not just a minor annoyance for users. Search engines like Google are literally measuring this visual instability. They see it as a bad user experience, and they will penalize your site for it. A high CLS score can directly hurt your rankings. So how do we fix it? This is where Next.js hands us an incredible solution right out of the box, the Next Image component. And listen, this is not just a replacement for your old image tag. It's a whole optimization pipeline that gives you 4 huge wins automatically. It serves up modern, smaller formats like WebP. It figures out the perfect size for every device. It lazy loads images that are off-screen so your page loads faster. And most importantly, it prevents that dreaded layout shift. And this is where Next.js really shines. It gives you all this power automatically, but still lets you have control. For your main hero image, you can just tell it, hey, this one is a priority. You can add a placeholder blur to get that cool, smooth loading effect. And you can use properties like fill and sizes to get really specific about how your images behave on different screens. It's all simple, clean, and incredibly powerful. Okay, awesome. Our images are optimized, the page loads without any jank. But what about when the user wants to go somewhere else on the site? Speed isn't just about that first load. It's about the whole experience from start to finish. And the difference here is night and day. A traditional link gives you that jarring, full-page reload, that flash of white as the browser wipes everything and starts over. But the Next.js link component, it feels instant, almost like a native app. The magic trick here is that Next.js is smart enough to prefetch the pages you might click on in the background. So by the time you actually click the link, the next page is often already there waiting for you. So our site is now lightning fast. That's half the battle won. Now we need to make sure people can actually find it in the first place. And this is where we get into mastering the other side of the coin, visibility, or what we all know as SEO. I absolutely love this analogy because it's just so true. You could have the most incredible product, the most brilliant articles in the world, but if search engines and social media platforms can't figure out what your site is about, you've basically built your amazing store in the middle of nowhere and forgotten to put up a sign. So let's think about this practically. When you copy a link to your website and paste it into Twitter or Slack or even a text message, what actually happens? How does that app know what title, description, and image to show? Well, the result is either one of two things. On the left, you get a boring, plain URL that nobody wants to click. But on the right, with the right information, you get this beautiful, rich, clickable preview card. It's got a bold title, a description that pulls you in, an image. This is the difference between getting scrolled past and actually getting the click. And the best part is, this isn't some kind of dark magic you have to spend weeks learning. This whole transformation is powered directly by the Next.js Metadata API, which is a system specifically designed to make adding this critical information as easy as possible. And it's smart enough to handle whatever you throw at it. For a simple page that never changes, like your About Us page, you just write the metadata right there in the file. But what about for dynamic stuff, like thousands of blog posts? Well, you can just write a function that automatically generates perfect, unique metadata for every single post by pulling the title and description right from your database. But those rich social cards are just the start. Next.js gives you a whole toolkit for visibility. You can easily generate a sitemap file. Think of it as a map of your site that you hand to Google. You can create a robots file, which is like a rulebook for search crawlers. And you can even add structured data with something called JSON-LD. That's the stuff that powers those cool, rich results in Google, like seeing star ratings or product prices right there in the search list. All right, so we've looked at all the individual pieces, the tools for speed, the tools for visibility. Now let's put it all together and see what it looks like when you combine them to build a perfectly optimized page. You know, it's one thing to talk about these tools one by one, but their real power, their real magic happens when they all work together. So what does that actually look like in practice on a real page? Think of a perfectly optimized page like a recipe with a few key ingredients. The main image uses Next.image, so it's fast and stable. The page has a sharp title and description for search results and social cards. Maybe it even uses that special JSON-LD to tell Google it's selling a product. Every single link to another page uses the link component for that instant navigation feel. And, of course, the page is listed in the sitemap so Google knows it exists. See? Every single piece has a job to do. We've gone over a ton of stuff, so now let's just boil it all down into one final, super clear checklist that you can take and use on your own projects right away. So here it is, your playbook. Number 1, always use Next/image for those automatic wins. Use placeholders to make the experience even smoother. Next, get comfortable with the metadata API. That's how you control how your site looks to the world. And remember to generate that metadata dynamically so your SEO can scale. Then guide the search engines with sitemaps and robots files. And finally, use JSON-LD to make your site really stand out. You do all that, and you've got a site that's not just fast, but also found. So there you have it. We've gone from the basic rules of speed to the finer points of getting seen by search engines. You now have the tools to build a website that not only works, but performs, engages, and gets discovered. So really, the only question left is, now that your site is truly built to be seen, what story are you going to tell?